Your name is Wine, and today is your first day at your new job. You are running late, and it's all because of your mom. She thinks that since you will be working in a manufacturing company, your job will involve testing the products in the most literal way possible. Obviously, that's not true, but you have to spend the morning explaining it to her while hurrying to the bus station. Mom, please don't be so over dramatic. You say trying to stay calm. I'm not going to have with the boss or any other employee. Just relax. I got a job as a boss secretary. What kind of job is that one? She asked, sounding skeptical. The boss secretary? I don't have time to explain it all right now. The bus is coming. I have to go. Wish me luck, you say, spotting your bus approaching. For what? To go and have a good time, I guess. She replies, still doubtful. Mom, please, you say, rolling your eyes. You end the call and step on the bus, shaking your head at her wild assumption. Seriously, what does some mom think? Just because you got a job doesn't mean you will have at work. What nonsense. Time skip at your new office. What? You reacted over dramatically according to them, but to me it's spot on. They can't ask you to taste their new flavored. That's not why you joined this company. What? Just taste this new flavor and give feedback to the boss. This is not my job. I didn't sign up for this. Look, being his secretary means giving him proper feedback on the flavors they plan to launch. But why me? Can't he taste them himself? Oh my god, don't you know what flavors are used for? It's for girls' perspective. It's crucial to get a girl's feedback before launching the product. Doesn't he have girlfriend or wife to do this job? No, he doesn't. He's single because he wants to focus on his work. I'm telling you this because you are new. Don't bring up this question to the boss. He won't hesitate to fire you in a second. You know what, old lady? Before he fires me, I will resign from this job. Okay, it's up to you, but before you decide, let me tell you something. Yes, I am old and I'll be retiring in a month. You will be promoted to my position and the pay is very good. Also, the owner's son has taken his father's seat. So, when you go inside to hand in your resignation letter, you will see a very handsome young man sitting in the CEO's chair. Not some old bald CEO like in other companies. It's your call. Let me know in an hour if you still want to resign because I'll need to find another girl. With that, she left. For a few moments, her words about a handsome boss almost changed your mind about resigning. But no, you are an intelligent person. You didn't study just to end up testing some stupid. As you walked into the office, you initially defiance towards the job melted away the moment you laid eyes on Jungkook. He had the kind of cold, commanding presence that made your heart race, exactly the type you secretly fantasized about, a CEO who could control you with just a glance. Despite your earlier resolve, his sheer attractiveness and the aura of wealth and power he exuded made you reconsider everything. Hello, Miss Wine. I hope Miss Jongjun helped you understanding your duties. Jungkook said in his stoic CEO demeanor, enough to make you swoon. It might sound strange, but you have thing for cool, controlling boys, and Jungkook filled that mold perfectly. Miss Wine, he prompted again as you were still reeling from explaining to yourself why you were resigning. Yes, sir, you managed to reply, trying to compose yourself. Said he gestured, and despite your racing heart, you sat down slowly, trying to maintain composure. Since this job is unique, I need to ask a personal question. Can I ask if you don't mind? Jungkook inquired, his voice authoritative. How old are you? He asked, his expression serious. I am 24. You replied nervously. Okay, and are you active? Jungkook asked directly. You knew you had to lie. They would prefer someone with experience for this role, and you certainly didn't want to be dismissed for being unexperienced. Yes, sir, you answered, keeping your gaze steady. What method do you use to avoid pregnancy? He continued. In your mind, you pondered the idea of being with someone as attractive as Jungkook. Of course, Mr. John. Sir, you answer, trying to maintain professionalism. Mr. John is fine. I don't like to be called Sir. Jim Cook replied, his tone firm yet strangely inviting. Okay, Ryan, here are some flavor that you need to taste and tell me how they taste so that I can finalize the product. He said, tossing packets in front of you. Here, you ask, you handed over the pack given by Jin Jungkook. He looked at you curiously, his cold demeanor contrasting sharply with the unsettling attraction you felt towards him. Yes, why? Is there a problem? He asked, his tone cutting through the air. You hesitated for a moment, trying to gather your thoughts. In your mind, you thought that you have to put this on his and then try it. I am sorry, Mr. John, you finally managed to say, standing up abruptly from your seat. I can't do this, it's too embarrassing. Jungkook eyebrow raised slightly, clearly intrigued by your response. What's so embarrassing about putting two fingers on the product and tasting it? He questioned, his voice steady. You felt a surge of panic and indignation, but you knew you had to salvage the situation somehow. Of course not, you replied quickly, trying to maintain your composure. What could be so embarrassing about that? To avoid further embarrassment, you swiftly opened one of the pack, extracted the product, and tentatively tasted it, putting it between your fingers. You murmured and unexpectedly escaped your lips. It was surprisingly your favorite flavor, strawberry. But as you savored the taste, reality crashed down on you. You glanced up and find Jungkook staring at you in intensity, his cold gaze penetrating through you. It dawned on you then this wasn't just about tasting flavors, it was about exploiting the sensory experience to market the product effectively by having women sample the flavors in such a way. Jungkook was capitalizing on their reaction to sell his. Jungkook POV. Seeing a girl, her fingers trapped inside of the brand that I own made me hard down there. I was at the edge of saying her that those finger on here, but I couldn't do that. I control myself as Dad always says. Never ever show your sexy, romantic, and lovable side to your employees. This is something personal and it should be come out at home. Workplace is workplace and there should be not any tension. Okay, there's a cabin beside my office. Go there and get your work done. She nodded nervously. Okay, she stood up slowly, gathering all the packets in her hands. Watching her, I couldn't deny how attractive she looked. Holding those packets, her eyes met mine briefly. In that moment, I could sense a hint of interest. It's probably best if I keep my distance, I thought to myself, trying to maintain a professional demeanor. The time passed, I avoided her as I could, but I don't know she was high on drugs or were drunk. One day she came into my office, clearly not in her right mind. She stormed over to my desk. I shot her a bewildered look as she grabbed my attention. Just say it, just say it, she demanded, her words loaded with something I couldn't quite understand. What? I replied, trying to maintain my professional demeanor despite the situation. And what's with that tone to your boss? I threw the file aside, glaring at her with a mix of disbelief and irritation. As much as I adored her, she couldn't just discard it office etiquette. She kept staring at me, not saying a word. What? You want to get fired? I challenged her, my tone firm, hoping to snap her out of whatever strange mood she was in. Just say that you want to have with me, she blurted out suddenly. What? That's absurd, I retorted sharply. When did I ever say that? Deep down, I wondered if she could somehow read my mind. I just saw packet in your drawer. She stuttered, relief washed over me. Thank God she can't read minds. I thought to myself before speaking in one more composed voice. Do you even realize what you work? I asked, trying to make her understand the gravity of the situation. You work for a company that manufactures, and I am the CEO. They send me samples because they redesign the packaging. Is that clear now, or do I need to explain it differently? I am sorry, Mr. Jun. Wan apologized, awkward, letting out awkward laugh. She turned around to run to get out of my sight as soon as possible, but then I stopped her as I wasn't finished yet. Turn around, I instructed her firmly. She hesitated but eventually complied. I handed her the packet, curious. Do you want me to? Her wine taste confirming my suspicion as she was interested in me. Despite the temptation, I remembered my father's words about keeping personal and professional matters separate. I strained it up, raising my voice slightly. Tell them to change the wrapper. It's not attractive enough. I directed firmly. You hurried towards the door, clearly wanting to escape the uncomfortable situation, and she left. Why and POV, did you just see that what I just did? I had a crushy job, just sit in my cabin, taste like candy, and give feedback. Easy. $1,000 in my account every month. But no, today I got fed up with the tension between me and Mr. Hottie. I mean, my boss. I blurted out whatever came to my mind, and now I've been fired. No more free candies to chew, no more dollars, and worst of all, no more seeing that handsome face I would die to see. I sighed heavily and slumped into my chair, holding my head in my hands. Suddenly, an employee walked in and placed two flavored on my desk. I looked up with a bored expression. What now? I asked flatly. These are two different flavors of mints, he explained. Give report to the boss after finding out which one is good. So I still have a job, I clarified. What? The employee looked confused, clearly unaware of the drama between me and the boss. I shook my head and he left me alone with my thoughts. After he left, I opened one of the packets and was about to taste it when Jungkook gathered my wrist. I jumped up in panic, seeing him look at me with cold expressions. So, Mr. John, I stammered, trying to gauge his reaction. He didn't reply, just took the unused from my hand. What's happening? I asked nervously. Pack your bags and leave. You fired, Jungkook declared abruptly, not giving me a chance to defend myself. He turned around and walked out, tossing into the trash bin, leaving me alone with a shattered heart. It was difficult to leave a well paying job and a boss I had a crush on, but with a heavy heart, I gathered my belongings from the cabin and left. As I reached the main road, the guard handed me a bouquet of flowers with a note attached. I sat in a cab and opened the letter to read. Let's go on a date. Give me a call on this number if you feel the same. I looked up out the cab window toward Jungkook's office. He was standing by the window, hands in his pocket, a smile on his face.